Hey everybody, how's it going? It's Gaming Jack 24/7 here, welcoming you back to Talkin' Jack. And this week is Smash Talk. Now, pretty much I just want to talk about Smash 4. I want to talk about who's been announced. I want to ask why some people haven't been announced, and maybe throw out a couple ideas that I've been mulling through my mind about for new characters. So, let's get started. First things first, new characters. We have, let's see, I got my list right here. Alright, we have Mega Man, Wii Fit Trainer, and Villager, which are the first three that were announced. Now, Villager and Wii Fit Trainer, actually, I didn't see any of these coming from a mile away, but I didn't really ever expect Wii Fit Trainer or Villager from Animal Crossing. But as far as that goes, this is actually a very interesting concept. I really want to see how they play out. Now, Mega Man, I've got one thing to say. Thank you, Capcom, for finally doing something smart. You have a franchise as globally successful as Mega Man, and you have still done nothing with it. Nothing substantial in the past, 2 or 3 years? Cut the guy some slack. Maybe him being in Smash 4 is a sign that they'll wise up and start realizing, hey, we've got a popular character here. Why don't we use him? I don't know. I'm really excited for that. And then, I guess some people, when they first saw the trailer, they were like, oh, he's going to be able to switch between all his 8 weapons. I don't think that's how it's really going to work. Because what I saw from the trailer, it seems like certain aerials of his are going to be certain weapons. So, like, the metal blades are going to be, like, let's say, B neutral. Because his standard attack is his Mega Blaster. And then you can charge it for a smash attack. And then, yeah, that's going to be that. I think all his grabbing animations are going to come out of the Gutsman move, essentially. Like, you know, how you see in the trailer where he just picks up Mario and is just like this with him. Like, you know, in Mega Man 1 when he would grab giant bricks. I think it's just going to be, that's going to be his standard grab animation. So, that would make sense to me because, well, it's the only thing in his games that involves grabbing. So, yeah, that makes sense. Alright, moving on to, we have 2 more newcomers that have to be talked about. And that will be, first let's talk about Rosalina. Rosalina and Luna. Or Luma, yeah. But anyway, so Rosalina and Luma seem like they're going to play a little bit like a mix between, how do I explain this? It's kind of a weird situation, but it looks like it's going to be a kind of a weird mix between Peach and Ice Climbers with the whole, like Ice Climbers, like in the whole desync ideas. With how, you know, you can move the Luma outside of Rosalina, even though technically you're only supposed to be able to control Rosalina. But I think it's going to be a really cool concept. I want to see how they expand on this. But the problem is, I'll talk about that later, but this may raise an issue for some returning veterans, maybe not even possibly being included. But I want to see how they do this, but it seems like it's going to be a really cool concept right now. So I'm actually really excited for Rosalina. And last but not least, we have Little Mac from Punch-Out. All I can say about this is, what the hell took you so long? Seriously, you have an original character, a Nintendo exclusive original character, from something that's technically the only fighting game, like, from the major portion of the first area, besides, like, Street Fighter, and obviously you can't put Ken and Ryu in there. You have a first-party player from a fighting game, essentially. And you waited till the 4th installment of Smash to use him? The hell is wrong with you? Oh, jeez. Now that I got that off my chest, the problem is, Little Mac looks like he could possibly be a little bit overpowered. He seems like, how do I explain this? Take Captain Falcon, make him slightly faster on the ground, but crappy in the air. So basically make him a ground-based Captain Falcon. And that's what you got with Little Mac. Little Mac, I mean, you can see in the trailer, he's not an air fighter. That's not his forte. But at the same time, some of the stuff he did on the ground was ridiculous. Like that charge meter KO is going to be... I wonder how that's actually going to work out. Because, I don't know. I want to see, like, if it's just an automatic KO, if you charge it, how you have to charge it. Like, if you have to, like, if that's his B neutral, or... I'll have to see how they implement it to see whether or not he's really broken, to be honest. So, that's my thoughts on that. So, that's all the new characters I wanted to talk about. So, some things I wanted to cover. Number 2 is people that haven't been announced yet, which is the 4 I'm mostly concerned about is Yoshi, Captain Falcon, who I just mentioned earlier, Ness, and Jigglypuff. Now, if you've been playing Smash, at least like as long as I've been playing Smash, like just casually, essentially since the first game, you would know that these are 4 characters that are part of the original 12. These guys have been in every single iteration of Smash in general, all 3 of them. But you still haven't heard of Captain Falcon being in the game. Yoshi, of all people, hasn't been announced yet. Hell, we got Diddy Kong announced, but I'm assuming they'll announce Yoshi's return when they do the Nintendo Direct for Yoshi's New Islands release in Japan, or just in general, because that's what they did for Diddy Kong. They waited until DKC Tropical Freeze came out. Speaking of which, I really need to play that game. From what I've seen and what I've heard, it's such a good platformer, and I loved DKC Returns. And sadly, that's confession time here, people. That is my only experience with the DKC franchise so far. I did just get Donkey Kong Country, the original for the SNES, and I have a Retron, so I'm planning on playing that soon. So I'm excited for that. But still, Yoshi hasn't been announced, Captain Falcon, Ness, and Jigglypuff. Freaking Jigglypuff hasn't been announced. And Jigglypuff is the gag character of the cast. How can you not have Jigglypuff? Jigglypuff's just that character that you set to level 1 and go around with Ganondorf and forward air them to death just because you can. But just those guys I expect to be in Smash. They're not, like, I'm not super worried about it. I don't think they would exclude any of the original 12 ever, unless there was like a licensing issue. But these are all Nintendo first party characters. There should be no problems. Now, someone else I want to talk about who may be having problems due to 3DS hardware limitations, apparently. Ice Climbers. You heard me right, Ice Climbers. Because I'm not going to show the post because I actually don't know where it is, but I remember I was watching Smash Chat Smash Chat with CJS001, and when he was talking about it, he said that there was a post where Sakurai in a Q&A with someone was talking about how it was hard for him to program desync characters essentially on the 3DS, or tag team characters like Ice Climbers, for example. So this may be a sign that we may end up losing the Ice Climbers. But at the same time, I really hope we don't, because, well, I mean, personally, I don't care. Personally, I don't really care because I never played Ice Climbers. Ice Climbers has never been a character I want to play. So that's never concerned me. But just in general, I think there would be a lot of people that would be disappointed if the Ice Climbers didn't make a comeback. So I'm just worried about that. And then Pokemon Trainer 2 is kind of worried because, you know, it's kind of the swap out character, kind of like it's pretty much the same thing. Like, you know, you have to swap out multiple characters. You have to program 2 characters to be controlled by one person. In the case of Pokemon Trainer, it's 3, but only when they're out. So that'll be interesting. But that's really all I want to talk about as far as unannounced veterans. And finally, we have voice crack. Finally, we have a couple ideas I had for some new characters. Now, I didn't really think, like, I haven't put like a lot of thought into it, but I'm mulling in my mind like ideas. And the thing is, we don't have that many villains in Smash. Personally, there are some characters I would like to see cut from Smash, mainly because I don't think we're going to go back to melee style mechanics. So at this point, it's just it's a personal preference on who's actually in the roster. And in that case, I actually want to see more bad guys. I want to see more villains. We don't have a huge representation from that. We've got, as actual villains go, we're not talking like possible flip-floppies like King DDD. We've got Ganondorf, Bowser, Wario's technically, he's a bad guy, but at the same time, he can sometimes work with Mario. I would say 3 maybe, and then Wolf. And right now, I literally can't think of anything else. So we've got 4 bad guys out of our franchises of Mario, Zelda, Pokemon. Well, Pokemon I can't really explain. Fire Emblem, and all these. We've got a good amount of first-party franchises that have good good villains that just haven't been seen. Like Mario, you could put in trying to think. Heck, for Mario, put in Fawful for all I know. I don't expect them to put in Fawful. I just don't see how he would work that well right now, but I don't know. I haven't put too much thought behind it. But what I was thinking of is kind of like a mix between anti-heroes and bad guys. And I have 4 of those, and then I have 1 arbitrary. Like, I just kind of want to see him because either throw this guy a leash. He needs it. But first things first, first idea. Since we have Mega Man now, I was wondering if we could possibly see Bass, maybe? I was originally thinking, hey, maybe Dr. Wily, but Dr. Wily doesn't make sense to Smash in me. But Bass can be translated pretty decently well. He plays like Mega Man. His final Smash could be where he combines with Treble, and then just flies around the street and wrecks shit. That's still what I think Mega Man's final Smash is going to be. He's going to combine with Rush, go into Rush mode. So, but I think Bass would be kind of a cool concept. It wouldn't be too much different from Mega Man is the problem. You would have to find some ways to tweak it, and he probably be slightly bigger, but I don't know. It's just something I would like to see. Next on the list, let's get the list up. All right, here we go. From the Legend of Zelda series, here's a popular choice, especially for those of you who liked Skyward Sword, Girahim. Now, Girahim seems perfect for Smash to me. I mean, you've got a multitude of different movesets that he can use. He's got multitudes of swords and projectile moves. And his personality is perfect. He's batshit insane, which is perfect for Smash Bros. And then on top of that, you've got he's batshit insane. He's over the top, extravagant, flamboyant. He's just all these things that just in my mind make perfect sense for Smash. He just seems like one of those characters why haven't you put him in already? But then again, Skyward Sword came out after Brawl, so I would really like to see Girahim as well. All right, next. Since some of these were hey, we got this character, can we have this character too? And this is another case of that, where we have Sonic. Can we have Dr. Eggman, maybe? I mean, Shadow wouldn't make sense in my mind. A, he's an anti-hero and then becomes a hero. B, he wouldn't play any different to Sonic. He would just, if anything, just give us an alternate skin. Since we were talking about player customization, can we possibly get a Shadow voiceover and new skin for Sonic? So that if you change from playing Sonic to playing Shadow, he has different quotes and whatnot, but he still plays the same. I think that'd be kind of cool. But Dr. Eggman is pretty much a quintessential villain in the Sonic games ever since the first one. So if we're going to talk villains, why not him? I mean, there's not really much else you could talk about. Not really much else you could say in the course of villains for the Sonic series. And I mean, I haven't put too much thought into him. This is mostly just me kind of shooting out ideas that I think kind of would be cool. But next idea I had was, well, we have 2 representatives from the Donkey Kong series. How about we get a third in the form of a villain, and another heavyweight at that? Let's get King K. Rool in here. That would be awesome to me. Now, you could have him in multiple different sets. You can have him in like the boxing set from DK64. You could have alternate costumes where he's like, where he's Captain K. Rool. Sorry, my eye's itchy. I'm gonna itch it right in front of you because I'm totally unprofessional. But he could have multiple different costumes. His moveset could be his moveset would just be like, he's a big guy. He's a heavy hitter, like. But he was also like, there was a couple times like you can have him dash around and just make big hits and maybe throw like barrels or whatever he wants to throw at people. You could figure something out. I mean, come on. You found a set for Captain Falcon, a guy who inside his own game series, has never stepped foot too far out of his Blue Falcon. Yet you found a moveset for him. You can find a moveset for anybody, if that's the case. So, yeah. That's King K. Rool. Now, last person I want to talk about. Here's my arbitrary pick. And this is a guy who has been who was Nintendo exclusive for the majority of his good games, to be honest. That's how the majority of these people are in Smash. It's like, okay, if you're not fully Nintendo exclusive, the majority of your good stuff has been on Nintendo consoles. The only exclusion to that would be Snake and Sonic. But that's because we wanted third-party characters. Now, in my mind, this is a guy who, he's seen some better days, and I just really hope he would get a return in the form of Smash. And that would be Mr. Simon Belmont. Now, I know most of you are like, he's just got a whip. He can't do much. But you have to think about, he's got the whip, he's got the multitude of projectile things, he's got the whip for recovery. He can recover like Zero Suit Samus. Or like Ivysaur, where he just throws up his whip, and if it grabs the ledge, he tethers himself, pulls himself up. Done deal. That's the down B, or the up B. He's got, multiple different whips, like a side B or a neutral B could be a projectile, like the cross or the axe or a dagger. You have a multitude of different options for him. You just have to think of what specifically you would want to use for him. Now, basic attacks like tilts and smashes would probably be involving the whip somehow. Or probably just smashes with the whip, and then maybe the jab attack. Where, speaking of the jab attack, real quick, I love the fact that you can't just jab attack infinitely with certain characters. If they had an attack like that, they automatically now have a finishing hit. So, I really like that idea. But, anyway, back to Simon Belmont. Pretty much just be an awesome character to use. I would just love to see him get a revival that way. He did have the Castlevania fighting game on the Wii, which I still haven't played. I've heard a lot about from some of my favorite YouTubers. So I just want to see him make a comeback. But I don't know. One could hope, can't he? All right, so that's pretty much all I wanted to talk about for Smash Chat. This has been going on for quite longer than I expected, to be perfectly honest. So, in the meantime, thank you all so very much for watching this. If you like the video, maybe please leave a like. If you really like it, consider subscribing if you haven't done so already. And until the next time, guys and girls, this has been Gaming Jack 24/7 here, reminding you to just have a nice day. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye.